So, good afternoon. And so today we will look into, as we discussed yesterday, about the Linux fundamentals and errors, how to debug the errors on the server level, and how to troubleshoot the things. Correct. So we performed we worked on some Unix commands yesterday. Correct. So yesterday I have given one task as well, right? In MD file, we had some queries related to the grep, AWK, find, correct? Um, so I hope everyone has completed that worksheet. And if you let me know if you have any issues or any doubts on yesterday's session, we can discuss, or you can ping in the chat box. So, team, as we were discussing about the yesterday's session, like we were able to perform some command line related queries, and we were able to troubleshoot the issues at the server level, right? Now, when it comes to the logs at the Docker level, at VM side, we can do all the troubleshooting. We can figure it out what exactly the issue is, correct? But when it comes to the logs related to, as someone mentioned yesterday, let's say your container got crashed and it may not able to capture the logs with respect to the containers, correct? So in such cases, like we may not able to know what exactly what had the issue and why this container got crashed or the pod got crashed, right? So as we know, in our day-to-day, if you are working on the Kubernetes cluster or if you are working on the container part, right? So most of our application are not storing the application logs on the servers. So what they are doing is they are like storing it at the some like and in previous sessions we discussed about the Prometheus, correct? So Prometheus is like it's a kind of being used for storing the metrics related logs for the on the application. Where like mostly the application usually target their endpoints and they store the logs at the Prometheus on the Prometheus side. Similarly, we have a mechanism called for Loki. Okay, so like when we say Prometheus, it mostly we focus on the metrics related logs. However, when we have to check the logs with respect to complete logger or the logs that we checked yesterday, like the request status, what was the response, the user ID, all the information related to the particular request, we can able to trace that out on the Loki. So Loki is nothing but like that is similar to the Prometheus. It is the same like Prometheus, but it's kind of a database use specifically used for the logging aggregation. Okay, so what it does, like, so it's the same mechanism like how the Prometheus also work. Similar to the Prometheus, like how the Prometheus usually focuses on the metrics. Uh, Loki also usually grabs the logs from your application, okay, and it uses the same Loki database. And on the Loki database, your complete system logs will be stored. And again, it is being used as a data source. And you can use this Loki data source for your Grafana application. And this Grafana application, they can then by using this Grafana application, you can pull the logs and you can display it, whatever the error logs that you could see, similar to how we used to see the metrics for Prometheus. Okay, so we will start implementing one by one. Okay, so if you can see in the slide, I have mentioned like if when it comes to the logs with respect to the out of memory errors or some logs, like if it is not being stored on a particular application or on pod. Okay, and let's say so you may not be able to capture all the logs here, correct? So in such cases, like it's good practice to have a proper logging mechanism outside of your pod or your server, so that whatever the logs or the request went to that server, that that could be captured properly, and you have the complete application logs trace on some server. Like in such cases, like you can set Prometheus and Loki. There are a number of data sources can be used where you can store your application logs. Right? So Loki is one of the tools where you can usually store your logs. And as from your server, right? What we do is from a virtual machine or your servers, anything that the process related to the standard output or the standard errors, so that will be sent to the particular Loki database. And with that Loki database, when it pulls it, it will be displayed. And usually on a Loki server, the overall log structure is being served in the form of JSON. Okay, so whatever the logs that we will see, it will be displayed as that will be same. Okay, so we can start with our activity. Let's start with the first step with starting our container. Correct. I request you to please open the Docker desktop and please open the Git Bash or PowerShell. Okay, we will start building the same uh, assets that we yesterday shared, right? We'll go with the same because in that file we have the Loki endpoint also configured, as we have seen this in the yesterday session. I can go through it again, but yeah, the Loki endpoint that we have configured is the 3100. So let's start with the uh, demo things. Okay, so uh, let's start the PowerShell and start building the Docker container. Okay, so I will give the commands one by one. So as you can see, this is our Docker YAML file that we yesterday shared. So In this, we have already provided all the details with respect to the configuration, how your container will look like. So we have this Prometheus instance. Since we will be implementing both PromQL as well as the Promtail log QL queries today, and whatever the dashboard or the widgets that we created last week, today we will be combining that with the we'll be merging that with the um, log QL queries. Okay, so we'll have the complete dashboard things today. Mostly we will focusing on implementing a proper dashboard on Grafana using Prometheus and Loki. Okay, so the same configurations we are using the Grafana instance on the 3000 port. Payment app node exporter. Payment app is using 8080 port, so we will be seeing the metrics if the app related logs are loading or not with the 8080. Loki, as I said, like we have opened this port 3100, and we are installing Loki 3.1 here. Promtail image also we are installing as a part of this activity. So again, as I said, it is similar to what we have on the Prometheus. So same configuration we will be having on Loki instances as well. Okay, so far clear, guys?
Yes, Sandesh. बेटे गिफ्ट करता है कब
Do you want me to reshare the file, yesterday's SRE lab file? I hope everyone is having the yesterday's configuration. Let me know if anyone still required. I will share it again. So I'm just restarting my Docker container and the instances. So I'm stopping it now, and we'll have the fresh build. Okay. Yeah. Let me share it, Khalid.
Hi Santosh. So is it possible for you to reshare the files? Uh, the Docker Compose and everything. I mean, if possible. If not, then maybe we can. I mean, I will ask you later. Santosh, you there? Maybe so.
As you can see, we have to once you are able to access the assets, we have to do the same build again with the latest assets. Okay, make sure that you are not using the week 2 content. We have this connectivity, SRE, Loki, and Prometheus. All these container changes we have added in the latest YAML. So make sure you have the latest zip file. Please confirm once you are done with the build and once your containers are up, we will proceed with the next step. Okay. I think for Krishnan container has started. In the meanwhile, Krishnan, you can check if you are able to access the Grafana instance. We have started with the local host 3000. We have opened a 3000 port for local Grafana. You can try accessing Grafana. Yeah. Okay. So before we start implementing the dashboard and instances for the Grafana, we need to check if our targets and all the endpoints that we have configured are accessible or not. Correct. So since I okay, what's the issue here? Let me check. Okay, good. Okay, fine. Not able to access.
Only
We check here. This Grafana instance. Okay, what's the issue? Okay. So since I opened the same configuration from the PowerShell as well as I tried to access the same from the Git bash, so there was a port conflict, so I was not able to access it properly. So I stopped it from the PowerShell now. Even stopped from Git bash. Let me read.
Santosh, I have one doubt. May I know why you are not starting from Docker desktop? Is there any reason?
Okay. Yep. Is that now? Let me see. Just check if the metrics and all your metric logs and loggers are properly loading or not. So 8080 are the metrics logs, correct? And 3100 we have the application logs, right? You just check these endpoints if they are properly accessible. Yes, it is up now. Okay. Also check the Grafana instance. So as you can see, these are the Promtail logs, right? Sorry, these are the Loki instance. So 3100 is the Loki instance, right? So if you see the logs, they are from in the raw format, right? We are not able to, I mean, see in a proper way, like not able to figure it out what exactly the wrong with the application. So you can see here, we have all the loggers, and if we are able to access it, that means your Loki instance is up properly. Okay. So we will be creating the dashboard based on our Loki metrics, and this is nothing but the Prometheus metrics. So we will be using both of these metrics logs to create the Grafana dashboards. So last week we have already created some of the dashboards for Prometheus metrics, correct? That include error budget, correct? Number of errors, error percentage, total number of requests. So today, along with the overall error budgets and all, we will focus on the error part, sorry, logging part as well. Okay, so we have these loggers, and we will create the dashboard, and we'll try to access the logs from the Grafana instance. Okay, so just confirm, guys, in the conf if your Grafana Loki instance and Prometheus instances are up, you are done with the configuration so far. Then we will proceed with the next step. Okay. Okay, so we will. So right now, once your logging is, I mean, once your instances are up, we will have to start. We need to check if our instances are we are able to access the logging or not. So before we deep dive into the logging mechanism, I would like to share some like details about what exactly how we should be handling the error logs, error logs, and how to we should have the proper mechanism in place. Correct. So if you see the good labels and the bad labels here, we have listed out. Correct. So your errors or your logging should be based on the container names or the service name should be generic one. It shouldn't be based out of user IDs. As we know, like we are using the index based searching in our application logs. So for indexing, if you have proper labeling in place, so it will be easy for Loki and for your Grafana instance to pull the logs based on the labels. So if you can see here, even in our previous session also, we have seen that we have already have a proper label in place for like a container payment app, and rather than having the proper user IDs and all, so we have properly labeled our application logs, right? So this is the standard practice we need to have expected from the development team as well. So if they maintain the same, it will be useful for us to have a proper logging on the Grafana side as well. It will display properly if your labels are fine. Okay. So yeah, let's start with the first activity, like how to check the logs. Okay. So if you can see, yeah, this we have discussed, right? So on our container side, just to give the heads up, like how exactly this works at the backend. So on our containers, like though it is like a Docker or the Kubernetes cluster, on every container, rather than having the logs on your application side, right? So this Promtail is the agent. Okay, so this agent will be installed on your applications. Okay, and your application, this agent will usually export the logs. Okay, so what exactly it does? The Promtail usually export the logs to the Loki database, correct? And the Loki database usually store all the logs based on the indexes, as we discussed, labels and indexes, right? So based on the indexes and not in the kind of proper raw format. It will separate it out your logging in based on the index and the labels. And the same indexing will be used on a Grafana side. And similarly, how we use the PromQL queries, we will have the same. We call it as a logQL, and we'll use the same for creating the dashboard using the log queue. Okay. So, okay. So as we know that Promtail is, as I explained, is an agent usually that is installed on the Docker containers, right? Or your Docker application or pods, or, when it comes to the pod or clusters, right? It checks the logs and ship all the logs from your container to the Loki, right, automatically, and from the Loki it will be again, it is being pulled by the Grafana. So this Loki here, we are using it as a data source, and Grafana here, it is completely for the visualization. All right. So far, I think everyone is able to configure all the things, right? So let's get started with the overall with the configuration on the Grafana. Okay. So this is how we can access our container. So just open the Grafana and log in with your admin access. Okay. Yeah, along with today's session in Grafana, we will be checking what exactly happens when we have a proper alerting in place. And last week we were able to create some alert and were able to enable the logging budget, error budget, and all, right. So we will be doing the same thing in today's session as well, especially for the logging mechanism. Okay, so on your Grafana instance, just log in with the admin and we'll start creating the dashboard. Okay. So on the left-hand side panel, you can see there are a couple of options over here, right? Dashboard, explore. So last week we created a dashboard from create dashboard and adding the visualizations. So before we start creating the dashboard, we will see uh, the logging mechanism, especially for the Loki. Okay. So as you can see, last week we had configured the Prometheus as a data source. Now we can see Loki as a data source over here. Correct. So you can select the Loki as a data source, and we can see if we are able to access the logs. Okay. So let's check it out if we can access it. Check for the container. Uh, it's our payment app. Okay, let's check if you are able to access our payment app first. You can use simply builder option over here. Okay, with that you can directly able to access the logs. You no need to write the queries as well, the codes. You can directly it will build a query on your behalf when you select the builder option over here. Okay. Now just check if you are able to access it. Run the query. As you can see here, we are able to load the logs and it is pulling from the Loki database. You can use the build option or you can simply write this query. This is logql query, okay? You can simply switch to the port and let's check if we're able to access 500. Yep.
One doubt, like, what is the name of the query language for this Loki?
Okay, by default it is giving 500 for all, but we need to check for this status, correct?
Am I audible?
So far, hope everyone is able to get the logs, pull the logs from the Grafana. Please confirm, guys.
Yeah.
Santosh, can you hear us? I guess Santosh is not able to hear us. I mean, maybe,
Am I not audible, guys?
Yes, you are not audible. I mean, I could see many people are asking question, but Santosh is not responding. Anybody is facing the same?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I'm not able to hear anything. Okay, let's just allow me a minute. Just allow me a minute, please. Let me disconnect the call and join again. Yeah. In the meantime, please post your questions in the chat box. Let me check what's the problem with my system. Just allow me a few minutes, okay? Yeah, hi everyone.
Yeah, hi Santosh. Can you hear
Yes,
us?
yes, I can hear you.
Okay, okay, okay.
Sorry, I thought like you were able to hear me, but yeah, please, whatever the questions I missed, please let's start discussing. Yeah.
I mean, we were hearing you. I mean, there was no
Okay.
problem at all, but you were not getting.
Yeah, I was not able to.
Yeah,
Looks like some
that's okay.
issues.
That's okay. Yeah.
Yes, guys. So let me know whatever the queries you had. We can discuss. In the meanwhile, I'm sharing my screen. Yeah. Hope my screen is visible, guys.
Yes.
Yes, visible.
Yeah, please let me know what was the question. We can discuss. And hope we are able to, so you can see we are able to pull the logs, correct, on the Grafana using the Loki. This is how like we can pull the logs. But right now, as you can see, I'm just uh, checking with the 500. This is not giving me the correct value. I just need to check the number of errors, right? Specifically, the status is having 500. But right now, when you try to check with only 500, it will give you the logs. It will work similar to grep command over here. So yesterday we tested the grep command, right? So if you try grep with the 500, this is the same result that you will get in application log file. Now we have to get a particular only the status 500 related logs, right? So we can update our query over here. Okay. Let me edit it. Okay.
So these are the container log, or else what kind of logs we are seeing it down?
Okay, so see, this is the kind of our payment app is there, right? And last week we were able to create some logs. So similarly, we are creating these are the dummy logs. It's not specific to any container.
Okay.
So what I have done is I have covered the application logs. In this log file we have application logs as well as the container logs.
So we already got the log in Prometheus, right? What is the difference we get in the logs in Loki?
Okay, so in Prometheus we were able to get the metrics related logs. Correct?
Yeah.
Metrics log we are able to capture, but we were not able to capture the logs with related to the applications. Correct. So if you can see, we are able to see the complete database error. Correct. We are able to see the user specific information. Let's say you get a request like, okay, one of the requests got failed due to some errors, or the payment got failed. Correct. So in that kind of logging, we are not possible in the Prometheus. The Prometheus is pulling on the only the metrics related information. Whereas in the log QL, we are specifically having the log related to the application logs.
This is meant by traces, right?
Yeah, traces as well as the logs, both. It covers the traces as well.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, see, in our application for traces, we need to have a complete waterfall mechanism to follow, right? But this app doesn't support the complete tracing mechanism over here. So that's why what I will be doing is I will show you how to check the traces on one of the production environment. So
But
I have the access for one of the production environment as well. That also we will discuss when we start looking into the traces part. So far, like we will complete the logging mechanism and we'll create the dashboard using the metrics and the loggers, and then we will discuss about the traces. Right?
Yes, sure. So at last, can you show the container log also, how we are pulling the container logs?
Yes, yes. So I have, so this is nothing but like, see, if you can see here, 3100 is the Loki instance, correct? This is the
Yeah.
Loki database. So what we are doing, so similarly, we were able to check the targets for your Prometheus instance, right? So this is nothing but the Loki instance. So what we are doing, our payment app is on our payment app, we are like from the payment app, we have let's say the Promtail agent is installed on the payment app. What that agent is doing now, that is the payment, the Promtail agent is exporting the information to the Loki. Okay. And this Loki, if you can see on the Loki instance, we are having this log in a raw format. So this is the logs from the our payment app. So if you are able to access the logs, that means your Loki instance is up and it is able to pull the logs from the payment app. Now
So
what
for
we are doing
Loki,
here,
no dashboard like Prometheus and Grafana, right? This is the only thing we can do.
sorry.
For Loki, is there any UI like Grafana and Prometheus, or else only we can get the metrics?
Yeah, we can get in metrics, so
Only
the
we can
similar
get
metric,
we
Grafana metrics,
UI interface?
similar to Prometheus you're asking?
Correct.
Yeah, we can see, we can use the Prometheus as well. For Prometheus, we can use the PromQL. So for this one, Loki instance, I need to check that how to, if we are supporting any log QL. Let me check that as well. But I doubt we are supporting the log instance for logging mechanism for the PromQL, log QL, sorry.
So this is a application logs, correct? May I know
Yeah.
how we can get the container logs?
Yeah, this has the application logs as well, container logs as well.
Okay, okay.
So what we are doing here, Krishnan, is so as of now, if we crash our payment app, right? So the logs with why our application got crashed or the container related logs, those will be we need to export it in the form of standard output or standard error. Okay, in a standard Kubernetes or Docker container level, right? So we need to implement that kind of mechanism where you are exporting your logs at the container level, and your container is again it is exporting to the Loki. So here, if we kill our, I mean, if you bring down our container, we won't be able to perform the, we will be able to see the out of memory and all, but again, we will have to bring up our instance, and again, these logs will be gone in that case. That's what I did is, in the same application itself, like how the container logs will look like, I have added those logs also in the application log only.
Got it. So
Yeah.
you already pre-prepared the dummy logs, right? So that's why it is difficult.
Yes, it's a dummy logs, but again, at the end of the session, we will look into the production log as well, how the production logs will look like.
Okay. So
Yeah.
can we get any end-to-end this thing at the end of the workshop, like syncing the container log from and how these logs are grabbing and syncing everything? I just wanted to know, like, because I'm not sure it's already predefined dummy logs are there. So how is syncing the logs from the container and then pulling up here? That is thing I'm not sure.
Yes, I got your point. So when we start with the Kubernetes part, right, where we will be mostly started working on implementing the Kubernetes, like any container, we will start using it. So then only there I can cover that part. But yeah, if you want me to cover from like how the containers will pull the logs and how it will be exported to the Loki and all, that also I can cover, no issues.
Yeah, sure. Thanks a lot.
So yeah, sure. So the main motto for this, I mean, today's session was like to have all the, we are considering here like all the logging mechanism in place, the backend, and how your instances will look like. Okay. So we will cover this part as a part of today's session, and then again, as Krishnan mentioned, we will deep dive into the backend part as well. And I believe last week someone asked about the creating some what we say Datadog related. We were able to do some synthetic web synthetics, right? So I did some research on that as well. So we will go through in today's session. We will cover the synthetic part, not on the Datadog, but we have some other application called middleware. So I was able to access the sandbox. So I spoke to them, and we will go through that environment and we will see how the logging mechanism looks like on the production environment. Okay.
So Santosh, Loki is just supported for the logs.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
This is not related to the traces.
Traces also it will pull. See, thing is for traces again, you will have to install the OpenTail. Okay, so that is again one of the
The
agent
tempo.
tempo and OpenTail. Yeah,
Yeah, open. Yeah.
correct. OpenTelemetry. You will have to install the OpenTelemetry, and once you have the telemetry in place, you will be able to check the traces as well. So for that thing, what I am doing is like we have this production like sandbox environment. We will see how the traces looks like. Once we are done with the logging part, we will check how the traces looks like on the production.
Oh, see.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so we are able to pull the logs. That means our logging is working as expected. So
One question, Santosh.
yeah.
Yeah, the agent is pulling the log from the container and application.
Hmm.
So, do in our means Docker container we redirect the logging towards this Grafana side, or the agent separately pulls? Means the container will have its log in the var log side, and this will have the agent just reading it. Means how it is working.
Correct. So see, what agent is doing, our Promtail agent is completely capturing the logs. So when we say, when we configure it at the logger level, now let's say your container, correct? So container, on the containers, we have this Promtail agent installed. Okay. And that Promtail instance, the Promtail agent will capture all the logs related to the container that involve your application related logs, and if all the logs, it will be stored, it will be captured by your Promtail agent.
Okay.
Okay. And your Loki database is similar to the Prometheus database. So your Loki database is storing all the logs. So when the Promtail agent export the data, right, it will be captured at the Loki database in the form of raw format. So
But
from Loki
means it will
instances, Loki,
read the it will read the log means like that.
yes. It reads the log and it is
Okay.
exported to the Loki database.
Local database. Okay. Then
And
it makes a graph. Okay. I know.
correct. And your Loki, so your Grafana visualization, it is using Loki as a data source.
Okay.
So earlier, like we have these data sources, right? So if you can use the data source Prometheus for the metrics calculations, and you can use the Loki for logging
Visualization.
logs.
Okay.
Yeah, logs visualization.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So let's check if we are able to check the logs with the error train. Okay, let me do one thing. Any other doubts, guys, before we start creating the dashboard for the complete application?
So you said like Promtail is reading the logs, right? I
Yeah,
think
agents. Yeah.
is it communicating container to container by using bridge network, or else how it's communicating and getting the logs?
Container to see, all the container will have the Promtail
All the
agent.
container, all the okay, got
Yes.
it. Because we are separate Promtail, right?
Yeah.
It's a separate container is running. That's what I thought.
No,
It's
no.
communicating.
It's a kind of whatever the containers will have, we will have the Promtail agent will be installed there.
Okay, got it. Done.
It's similar to the machine agent and app agent. If you have worked on the, if you know the process of app dynamics, correct? The app dynamics also perform on the same principle. We have the machine agent and app agent installed on the every machines or containers, and these agents are usually capturing the information and it is exporting to the app agent, and that app agent is further forwarding the logs to the app dynamics.
Okay, got
Yeah.
it.
So it is the same mechanism. Okay. It is just like earlier your application used to store all the logs, correct? And you have a complete dependencies on the application. But let's say your application is crashed or restarted, you know there is no other option to recover the logs or to capture the logs. Your logs were gone. But since we are exporting all the logs using the Promtail, to the Loki DB and the Promtail database, Prometheus database, we are capturing all the logs related to the containers, right, and the application logs. That is why like Grafana could capture all the logs with respect to any application crashes, any out of memory, right, null pointer, everything. All the logs will be able to captured by the Grafana.
Got it.
That's why, like in recent, like mostly the organizations are depending on the Grafana and the Datadog rather than the previous applications.
Got it.
Okay, so guys, we can start with the implementing for creating one of the dashboard. Okay, but before that, let me see if we are able to check at least if we are able to see the logs for 500 errors. Okay, let me check that. For our payment app, correct? So we want this information in the JSON format, right? So let me check. Okay. So if you can see now, we are able to see the logs, only the failure logs over here. So this graph. So last week, if you remember, we were able to create the graphs based on the error rate, overall traffic, right? So similarly, using the log mechanism also, we can create the similar logs over here, similar graphs. But the thing is, this time series graph is not supported in the Loki dashboard. So Loki dashboard will support only the table formatting logs. So once we start creating the dashboard, right? Okay, let me show you one of the dashboard for. Okay, let's create a dashboard, simple visualization. Okay, so when you configure with the Prometheus, we can create the dashboard based on the time series and whatever the stats and everything we can configure. But when you select the Loki as a data source, we need to pull the information based on the table format only. So let's check the traffic. Okay, overall traffic for payment app. So now, if you can see, I have selected the data source as a Loki, correct? Now we will write a log QL here. Correct. So since we are checking for complete traffic over here, so let's see if it is working or not. Let's scale this up. This will not be supported again. So yeah. Yeah, as you can see, it has created the panel, and for complete traffic, we are able to see logs in a table format over here. Let me save it. You can see these logs over here, right? So in our previous, like when we're discussing about the logging mechanism at the Loki, we mentioned about the labeling part, correct? So this is why labels are important for the applications. So if you can see here, we are able to see the logs based on the labels, and so this will help us to check the issues with respect to. Now this is for complete overall logs. Based on similarly, we can create the logs for the 500 errors. Okay. So you can try implementing this. Just create a visualization using the Loki and select the widget as a table and try creating the dashboard for container SRE payment app. Okay, let me know once it is done, once you are able to pull all the information.
Can you paste the query?
Yeah, just a minute. Let me ping the query. It is simply like we are trying to access the application. We are just trying to access the container logs. Okay, so you can directly access, build the same using the builder over here. You can click on builder and it will create a query on your behalf. It can directly create queries. You no need to write it as well. So there is an option called label filter. Select a container option, and you will get what all kind of containers you have. So Krishnan, you were asking about the container logs, right? How the container logs are being fetched. If you can see here, whatever the containers are up, correct? For all containers, we could see the respective container that you are looking for, and based on that, you can create the logs. You can create the widget.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope it is clear to your doubt, like regarding the container logging mechanism.
Yes, correct. Understood.
Thank you.
Hi Santosh. Is there any way to get logs from multiple containers for a single panel?
For a single panel, you want to get the multiple from the multiple containers, right?
Yeah.
We can club them. We can club them. So there is an option, right? We have the option over here, right? Expression and add query. So you can simply add your query over here, correct? In the same container, you need to simply add. Let me 1 second. Now you can see here, right? Start creating your query. It is still it is loading. Okay, just allow me a minute. Yeah, you can see the option over here. Correct. You just need to select the container option again, and you can select the different container. Right now we have selected this payment app, correct? Now you can select other. If you have any other containers, you can select them as well. So in a single graph, you are clubbing multiple containers.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Yeah. So let's create for error rate as well for the errors, error logs. So this is the complete overall traffic, but let's create for the, let me save it. Now you no need to okay, save the dashboard. You can give a name to our dashboard like payment app. Now you can create a dashboard. You no need to create a new dashboard again for the new adding new widgets. You simply, there is option called add over here, correct? So from here you can simply add a visualization option. Okay, and now we have to check for 500 error logs, right? So again the data source will be Loki. Let's try writing the query for logquery query for 500 errors now. Okay, so again we need this in the JSON format, right? So status is, let's say 500. Yeah, so as I was explaining about the log QL queries, right? So when you are trying to create the widgets or visualization for the Loki, okay, or the logging mechanism, it doesn't support the time series and histogram, all these things. It supports only the table format. So if you're trying to create a new widget for loggers, you need to select the option called table. So when you select the table option, by default it will load all the logs in the form of table. Now if you can see, we are storing the logs only for the status 500, correct? So let's do one thing. Just have a change this to 500 payment 500 logs. Let's create the dashboard for 500 logs as well. I have shared the, let me share the log QL query over here. If you notice, the most of the error, the format of the query writing, it is similar to the prompt QL. Complete count. So I'm just trying to create one stats based on the number of errors. Okay, so I'm just checking if it is happening. Count the time. This will give us the count. That is okay. I'm set it range. Okay, here it is not allowing.
Closing
Let's
square
set it
bracket.
range. Okay. Yes. Sorry. Over the time. So I need to provide the timestamp as well here. So let's say 5 minutes. But it should be after should be status 500 in every 5 minutes. I need to check. Right. And we have started this bracket. Okay, this is closed here. Should be closed here. Let's check it out. I use here the number of series 100 reached in single query. Okay. In that case, if I better if I sum it, then okay, yeah. Yeah, so over the time, I mean, in previously, it was not able to, it was considering the overall 500 as a count. So we have to sum them, the number of error rates. So if you can see here, this is similar to how the Promtail queries that we have written in past. It is the similar query, but using Loki as a data source. Okay, so we can create the same error pattern for the Loki as well. Yeah, please let me. Are you guys following me, guys?
Yes.
I hope like okay, so I will keep this window open, this one. So this is for the number of errors. Okay, so what we will do, we will build one by one like dashboard for our instances. Okay, and at the end we will save this and we will see if we have that option. Wait. Okay. Yeah, typing this local query. Just create the same for stats. Okay, just make sure you are selecting the data source as a Loki over here and use this one. Error.
For me, no data is coming. Am I missing anything?
For which widget?
For both second one and third one, it is showing no data.
No data. Okay. Have you selected the widget type as a table? Visualization type table.
Yeah, it's in table only.
Okay, you're still not getting it.
Yeah.
You can share your screen. We can take a look. Or only issue with the Krishnan.
Can you see my screen?
Okay. Yes. Okay. 1 second.
Krishna, click on that table view. There is a button on the top. I mean,
Top.
yeah. Fill,
Yeah,
fill.
okay.
Yeah, click on that. Okay.
Yeah, table view.
No, can you change the timeline? Last 24 hours.
Yeah, actually,
You can select the just 30 minutes or 1 hour.
And make it time
I'm
time
not
saving.
able to see. Okay.
And then click on run button.
Yeah. Click on run query. Yeah.
yeah, actually, once again. This is disabled because I already triggered it. I'm doing again. So what I did is like I went to dashboards. So this is a dashboard, and then I added visualization. Correct?
Yes.
Okay, visualization I added. Okay, and then I'm pasting the queries, and then I'm running the query. It's in table. Still it's showing no data.
So can you click on code
Where I need to click?
in the behind the run query builder and code? Yeah.
Yeah, this is in code, and then if needed, you can go to builder.
Is your matrix is loading? Can you check with the 31001s?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's loading.
So you selected visualization, correct? And the format you selected, a data source you selected as a Loki, correct?
Yeah, visualization
And
is
widget
and-
type you selected as a table only.
Yeah, just select
Mhm.
stat over there. Yeah, stat. Instead of table, just select stat. Yeah.
start. Okay.
Okay. Now run the query. Yeah. And click on table view.
Okay.
And make it last maybe 15 minutes or something.
So your container is running.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything is running actually. Um. Okay, let us go ahead. Actually, maybe I will try again from the beginning because we are running out of time, I think. Uh, 2 o'clock. Ready, சரி பார்ப்போம்.
Krishna, is it working or still having the problem?
Still, I don't see the data actually.
Okay, 1 second. Let me. But the first one, overall traffic logs, are you able to pull the overall traffic at least?
Yeah, overall traffic log I can able to pull. In
Ah.
that, if I add visualization, I'm not getting the data.
Okay, so overall traffic also it is not
No,
working for
overall
you.
traffic is displaying actually.
Okay. Okay, do one thing. For overall traffic widget, right? You have option as a you can clone it or you can duplicate that same dashboard.
Duplicate.
Yeah.
May I know, am I in the correct one?
Yeah, correct. There is option click on more
More, okay.
and you can create a duplicate option over here. Yeah.
Okay.
Now just rename this one. Edit.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now click on the query.
Query where?
1 second.
So code you are saying,
Code,
right?
code, yeah, code.
Yeah.
So now just add pipe symbol after the pipe. Just check. We need to pull the in the JSON format first. Okay, just type JSON
Okay.
and again pipe
Okay.
status
Okay.
equal to 500. Give a space in between equal to and 500.
Okay.
Now try run the query.
It's in database. Okay.
Let me check. Save it. Save the dashboard and save the widget as well.
Save. Okay.
And panel also you need to save. Give the title name as a 500, payment 500 like that.
apply, right?
Okay.
So can we complete the class after class? Can we check this one?
Yes, yes, yes. We need to. Yeah, we will look into it. So it looks like some problem with. I need to check the logs, metrics logs, if you are at least capturing any 500 or not for your metrics. Based on that, we can check that. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. So in the meanwhile, we can create a widget for stats that I have shown, right? You can try creating at least a widget. The total number of errors for total number of errors by line. Okay, just create that as well. I'm sharing my screen again. Now we can create the logs for sorry, we can create one more widget for, let's say, to check the number of requests if they are more than for our SLI. If you remember, we configured one dashboard for in previous session the latency time, right? So if the latency is more than, let's say, 300 milliseconds, so we configured that dashboard, right? Let's see if we can set up that dashboard. Okay. Bring it to continue. In the metrics, I think we must be saving, capturing something for latency. Let me check. Okay. We don't have any parameter for latency. What we can do? Okay. Yeah, so we are storing latency underscore ms and whatever the logs like we are capturing, right? If latency is more than 300, so we can able to check that. Let me see if we're getting the proper logs or not. We can name this panel as a slow request. More than 300 milliseconds. See guys, as you can see here, from the logs, we are capturing the latency, right? Overall latency parameter over here. So we could see the logs, if the latency is more than 300 milliseconds, then we can capture a, we can create a widget for that, and this will give us the overall request. If they are more than, if they are consuming more than 300 milliseconds, then we can get the logs for that as well. So yeah, let me share the query. Please let me know if you are able to configure it and you are facing any issues. So these are some of the widgets that we have created using Loki. Okay. So this will help us to monitor the application from the logging point of view. Okay. So we will create some dashboard for from Promtail as well. Okay. We'll use the same queries that we used last week. Okay, the Promtail queries. It was a bit of payment, right? So total request, we will see how many total number of requests we have. Last 5 minutes, right? Okay. Number of requests with the rate parameter, and we will do again some of these requests. Right, so this will give us the overall number of requests. Okay. Number of requests per seconds. So guys, we are checking the overall request from the Prometheus point of view now. Okay. So once we start our chaos testing, right, we should be able to see the same result, whatever we are seeing on the Prometheus, and the same result should display on the Loki side as well, right? So we will create some dashboard on the Prometheus side as well, just to ensure that we are getting the same stats from the Prometheus as well as from the Loki. So these are the total number of requests.
One question. In Prometheus, is it possible to change the means a graph type of this?
Sorry, Vedant, I didn't get you. Sorry, what was that?
Is it possible to change this graph type in Prometheus? Means instead of line, a bar or something else.
Yes, you can.
Okay.
There are multiple options available, so you can
Just
change the graph type
asking.
as well.
Okay. Last time also we see this line graph, so that's why I'm asking. That's it.
Yeah. There are multiple options. So if you explore this part, right? So there are multiple options. You can see over here, panel option. Would you want your panel to design it like? You can set up the color as well, right? So there must be some option for bar as well. So we usually have 3 types of graphs, we can select error, and we can select this line chart. We can select the area and bar as well. Okay.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, you can see here, Vedant, styles, right? If I can select here bar, you will see it in the bar option. Now I will create the same. I will just duplicate it, and these are the total number of requests. I need to check the number of errors for the same payments total endpoint, correct? So simply edit this, right? And along with the total, like I need to add the status parameter as well. Let me explore if we can do it directly from using the builder over here. Okay. Yeah, status. Yeah, go to 500. And then queries. Yeah, these are the failure requests that I could see here. So number of yes. These are the total number of errors per minute, sorry, per second. So that's why we could see in 0 point option. Like usually when we check it per minute, they are per minute like 422 errors, right? So now we'll use the similar dashboard again. So these we have created using the Prometheus, and rest all dashboards we have created using the Loki. Okay. Let me ping this Promtail query. Okay, so we can similarly we can create um, like queries for both for Prometheus as well as Grafana, and on a single Grafana dashboard, you can add multiple containers. You can create a dashboard for multiple data sources, correct? So as like previously we discussed, like for PromQL, we were able to create the dashboard only with respect to the Prometheus data source. But if you have a Grafana in place, you can create a multiple dashboard using the like n number of data sources you have. So for a payment application, let's say I have a connectivity that I mean I need to check the alerting, need to configure the alerting for database as well as my application endpoint, correct? All these things I need to cover. In that case, I can definitely Grafana is going to help me. So yeah, it's a as of now, like if you can see, it is taking a time to create the dashboard. But there are a number of dashboards that we can create slowly. Once you start implementing the, creating the dashboard, it will help you out like how we can um, create a nice dashboard, and that will help you guys to monitor the things. Now, if you can see, we have the total number of requests and total number of failures and all. Let's try to see if we break the things, how that will reflect on the dashboard. Okay. So I think you start right. Start. So what I will do once we are done with the session, so I have to create few more endpoints over here, dashboards, correct? So it will definitely going to take some time. So I will create like a complete dashboard over here, and I will export the JSON file. Let's see if we are able to uh, get that. If you can pull that, we have an option in a dashboard, Grafana dashboard. We can directly pull the uh, Grafana JSON file. So if you, let's say you have created the same for the payment application, you can create the similar dashboard for let's say balance application or any application. If you want to create, you can create the same widgets. Just you need to change the endpoints. You can simply export the JSON file. You will get the same results.
So Santosh, if I create a dashboard for the load balancer logs, the
Yes, Rahul.
period of the hello, am I audible? Santosh?
Hello. Yeah, Rahul, tell me. I can hear you. Tell me.
Yeah. So if I create the dashboard for the load balancer logs, in the load balancer
Okay.
log, the 5
Mhm.
exits
Yeah.
added for the load balancer 502. So same things I have created the dashboard.
Okay. Yes. Yes, correct. See, while creating the dashboard, you have noticed, right? We have this option called select the container.
Okay.
Correct. So for the LB also, somewhere you need to export the LB logs to one container.
So I have export the ALB logs via the Lambda function. Trigger
Yeah,
the
yeah, that is also,
Loki
yes,
endpoint.
again, yes, that is also possible. So you can directly select that as a data source.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
And you can have that data source as a, I mean, the service as a data source, and you can create it. No worries.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why, like, see, why Grafana is like the Grafana covers most of the from end-to-end service point of view, right? When the request land to your load balancer first, okay, or let's say it is a application load balancer or wherever it is. From that load balancer, your request reach out to multiple endpoints, the downstream APIs, correct?
Yeah.
And from the downstream API, it reflect, you get the response from the database, and again that goes back to the end customers, right? So that is end-to-end operation, correct? So when we are monitoring these things, what you can do is you can create a dashboard starting from the load balancer. Then you can add your next downstream gateway service. If you, let's say, have any gateway API, you can configure gateway API logs. Then next you can configure the logs for your, let's say, the application logs. Okay. And the downstream API calls, based on that you can configure, and then at the end you can configure, you can create the widgets for database as well. So with that, you are covering end-to-end flow for your application.
Thank you, Santosh.
Am I audible, guys?
Yes, Santosh.
Yeah,
Yes.
looks like, see what I have started the chaos on my system. So looks like my system got, I mean, not, it's not responding. So just waiting for that only. Anyways, so whatever the dashboard that we have created till now, like hope everyone has able to create it. Please confirm, guys.
Yes, Santosh. Yes.
Okay, thanks, Mukul. Okay. So I have one JSON inbuilt, like we have created some widgets, and with that we're able to pull all the widgets and for Prometheus as well as for the Loki. So I will be importing that, okay, and then we will start the chaos testing again, and we'll show how that reflects on your application whenever there is a traffic surge, or when there is a kind of error rate increase for your application, how that looks like. Okay, and I will be sharing that JSON file with you guys as well. Okay, similarly, you will need to create the dashboard. So yeah, let me share that as well. But okay, just let me connect first, because system is running on the chaos mode now. So just allow me a few minutes, okay? In the meanwhile, like if you have any doubts or queries, just feel free to ask. I will answer them.
So, what is the plan for next week, Santosh?
Sorry, Krishnan. Sorry.
What is the plan for next week?
Okay, so next week we will. So today I was planning to cover the this part as well. We got yesterday AWK and deep dive into find and grep queries related, right? So I was planning to cover that part as well today, but since it took some time for us to create the dashboard and all, right? So to deep dive into all the dashboard things. So my plan is now we will wrap up this session at the Grafana and all these things that we have already been covered, correct? So next week we will start with the first session. I will cover the deep dive into the AWK, and we'll cover the first 30 minutes incident management. We'll start with the incident management later, the blameless postmortem and all. And I have been discussing with one of the organization, like they are similar to like the Datadog. So there is one app. If you check on your browser middleware, okay. So middleware is again similar app, similar to Datadog, okay. So I am just in contact with them. So if they can arrange one KT session for us, the production liveliness and how the overall logging mechanism works on the production. So I am in discussion with them. So if they agree, if all things look goes well, then we will have one session with them. So for now, like they have given me the access for their sandbox environment. Okay. So today again, I was planning to have a session for creating one synthetic based on the user-based synthetic. But let's see if we are able to, because I just wanted to finish this Grafana things first, and then was planning to create the synthetic.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
So, what is observability? I'm not. Is that naming convention, or else is that any tool?
See, observability is nothing but, see, when it comes to the monitoring part, okay. What do you think? What do we guys monitor actually? So monitoring is nothing but your reactive approach, correct? So what you do, what we usually do. So let's say there is a CPU spike or there is an issue with your application, correct? And you suddenly started noticing application issues with your within like application started failing. So
Correct.
when we started looking into such kind of issues, this is nothing but the reactive approach. Your application has started failing, and then you started taking the action on it. Correct? Whereas observability comes into picture like before, like any issues happens, like let's say out of memory, correct, and CPU spiking and all. Now, when we say observability, that is nothing but a proactive approach. So proactive approach here, that means like before your application eats up all the memory, you have a dashboard in place. Let's say you create a dashboard for the memory observation, right? How your memory is being consumed by the application. What you can do, you can create a dashboard and you can have a alerting in place. If the memory consumption on your application is more than 70%, you get an alert. So what exactly you are doing over here? Instead of your application crashed, that will eventually happen if you do not have any alerting in place. The application will consume all of your memory or disk space, and then you will start taking the action on it. So observability is nothing but you are taking the proactive approach, actions for your application, and that includes whatever the dashboard that we are creating now, right? So if you notice that your error budget is increasing from 0.1 to let's say 0.2, 0.3%, correct? Your application latency is, let's say, it is increasing from 300 milliseconds to some certain level, correct? The traces part, the logging part, all these things. So what we are doing in observability, we need to consider all these parameters that include the metrics, that include the logs, that include the traces. So that if you create a proper visualization based on the all these three parameters, that is nothing but we call it as a observability. You are
Okay.
observing your application end to end rather than taking the reactive approach. Like once your application is present, then you start taking the actions. You have a proper observation for your application is in place, so that let's say eventually if you see any gradual increase in any parameters, you can take a action immediately. So that's why it is a core, one of the core principle for the SRE, observability, monitoring and observability.
Sure, Santosh.
Yeah.
Got it.
So Santosh, one question from my end.
Yeah, no, correct.
So yeah, basically what we understand from, Grafana, Prometheus and Loki, it's something like, still without using Loki, we can see the dashboard, we can
Yes.
create the dashboard, everything, right?
Yep.
And just to deep dive into our analysis or to get more details on the specific issue, for example,
Correct.
500 errors.
Yeah.
So for that purpose, we would need labeling, tracing, labeling, right? And
Yep.
for that purpose, we would need Loki. Is that
Correct.
understood correct?
Correct. That's absolutely
Okay.
right.
Okay.
So see, so on Prometheus side, you will be able to see there is an increase in 500. There is an increase in let's say 504 gateway timeouts and all. But
Mm.
Loki will help you out. Let's say there is a 504 from the gateway side. Okay.
Mm.
On your application on Prometheus, you can see the clear spike for your application. There is a application got spike and 500 errors are increasing. But down the line, you do not have access from Prometheus, like where exactly it is failing.
Mm.
If you have a proper container or logging mechanism placed for your gateway, you can configure that as a part of logging mechanism in your application as a log QL using the Loki. And similar widget that you have created from from using the Prometheus, you can create the similar widget for Loki as well. And you will be able to see the same pattern. Now, you can clearly analyze between the Prometheus and Loki graphs. If you see the steady graph for both, it is matching the overall analysis, then you can say, okay, there is a timeout happening at the gateway level.
Okay.
Got my point, right? So based on the containers, you can create the logging mechanism, and based on that, you can create the time, the graphs on the log, on the using the log QL. And Prometheus will give you the overall picture of your application, how your application is performing, what is the error rate, what is the latency. So those all kind of things that will be covered as a part of Prometheus.
Okay. So we can say like that. If we consider as a block diagram, okay,
Mhm.
it's all this. Okay. So Prometheus and Loki, we can say those are work parallelly. I mean,
Yep,
parallel.
yes,
Yeah,
yep,
and then okay, and from there the data will be pulled and will be shown on the Grafana, whatever you
correct,
want. Okay,
correct,
okay.
correct. Yes.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
So, guys, I am sharing one JSON file, okay, using the transfer file. It will not take much time, okay. So once you are able to import that, I will show you how to import it, and we will be able to visualize all the dashboard that we have discussed, and how to create a proper production level dashboard. Um, and yeah, then we can have one example for the synthetic configuration. Okay.
Actually, Santosh, you went away right before 10 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
everyone thought like the class is over, so everyone went offline.
Oh, is it? Acha, acha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
No worries, no worries then. In that case, okay. No worries. Um, Fine then. What I will do now, I will share the JSON file in our conf itself, WhatsApp group itself. Okay.
Okay.
And I will have one reference lab reference file. I will create one lab reference file and how to import. Now, since you have this Grafana instance open, right? You simply need to import it, and that will import all the log files. Okay, that will import all the dashboards, right? So I
Understood.
will create that lab file as well, and the next week we will deep dive into AWK, find and grab all the things that how we can troubleshoot and what are the interview questions are expected. And again, one session we will cover on the middleware software, middleware app.
Okay. Okay.
Got
Sounds
it.
good.
Yeah.
I hope today's session, like we whatever things that we have covered, are like hope we are good with that, and uh, hope it was helpful, guys.
Yeah, it was so helpful, Santosh. But the thing is, like, we already have the dummy data, right? So that's what I just want
Mhm.
to answer on how this thing's working. So I just want to create Docker file and I need to create Promtail, and then I just wanted to understand how this is syncing.
Okay, from the
So
backend
what?
side, you want the real.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, okay,
Um, yeah, it will be too beneficial.
sure, sure, sure. Let me look into that part as well, because see, thing is like as per our I
Yeah,
mean
we
our
don't have
plan,
time. I understood.
it will definitely going to take some time, because like if you see today's session, I just configured we were able to configure only 5 to 6 dashboard, whereas I was expecting at least we could configure 10 to 15, and that will pull up all the records, and we were planning to start at least a stress testing, so that now on our dashboard it will be completely visible what happens when we start the stress, or we start the chaos testing. So that was my plan. But yeah, the things are taking. I mean, we have to check for everyone's configuration and everyone up to the mark, like when they configuring it. So yeah, let me think about it. Like now, if you see, like ideally next session we were planning to have it on the incident part, incident management, and how to correlate our monitoring and observability with respect to the incident. So that was my plan. But yeah, next week mostly I will cover whatever the things were recommended. Like we'll go into the deep dive first on the AWK find, grep seed, and all these commands. Okay, and then we will again we'll go through Grafana thing, how the dashboard looks like when all the dashboard, all the widgets and everything is in place, and when we start the stress, how that looks like, how the alert will get triggered. Okay, so you will get at least a production like experience, like how it exactly looks like. Okay,
Got it.
and then I once I get the approval from our coordinator, so I will check with the middleware team as well. So probably they will also have one session with us. They will explain us how their app is working and how to configure the synthetic. Okay, that is again like in recently they are asked. Okay, so all these things we will cover in the next week, guys.
Sure, Santosh. Got it.
Yes, perfect. Sorry, guys. Like I got disconnected in middle, like due to this stress testing, and that got my system itself down. So I had to connect it from the mobile. So no worries. Okay, see you guys in the next week, and I will be sharing the lab session and what all things that we need to perform step by steps. I will share the PDF file as well as the lab file with you. Sure.
sure.
Yeah. Okay, guys. ठीक है. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. See you next week. Thank you. Bye.
Thank